So hi everyone, welcome to the finite element analysis of shaft first session. So in this we are going to go through the introduction, shape function for the shaft element, then derivation of strain and stress matrix for the shaft element, and also the stiffness matrix for the shaft element. So the learning outcome for this session is to derive the shape function for the shaft element and also to derive the stress, strain, and stiffness matrix for the shaft element. So let us begin with the shaft element. We all know that shaft is a common machine element which is used to transmit the rotary motion or torque. And generally these shafts are circular in cross section that can be a solid or hollow. And those shafts are supported on the bearings and transmit the torque with the help of gears or sometimes the belt and the pulley. Then the shafts they are generally subjected to the bending moment, torsion, and sometimes an axial forces. And in practical condition, if you see, usually the shafts are subjected to the combination of these three uh, forces, that is bending, torsion, as well as axial. Now we'll move to the derivation of the shape function for the shaft element. But before moving to the derivation of shape function, we'll see the similarity between bar element and the shaft element. So we know that in bar element we are applied with the axial force, and because of that axial force we are getting an axial displacement. But whereas the shafts are subjected to the twisting moment, and because of twisting moment we are going to get the angular displacement. So that is the difference between bar element and the uh, shaft element, where both are having 1 degrees of freedom at each node, but in bar there is an axial displacement, but in shaft we have angular displacement. That's what I mentioned here. uh, Axial displacement we are taken it as a u, and angular displacement we are taken it as a theta. So to derive the shape function, everything is same, only the u is replaces with the theta in case of a shaft element. So that is what I am showing in the next slide. So in a bar element, the displacement at any random distance is given by this equation. That is u is equal to u1 n1 plus u2 n2. That means calculating the displacement at any random distance, we are calculating with the help of shape function, that is n1 and n2. And those n1 and n2 in terms of global coordinates and local coordinates I have mentioned here. If n1 and n2 are in terms of x, those will become global coordinates. When and n1 and n2 will be in terms of zeta, these are in terms of local coordinates. Now similarly, when I extend this to the shaft element, the displacement here, when I say displacement, it is an angular displacement at any random distance in the element is given by this equation. So as I told, wherever u, that u is now replaced with the theta, but the shape function n1 and n2, either in terms of global coordinates or in terms of local coordinates, they are same, as it is having 1 degrees of freedom at each node. Now let us move towards the derivation of strain matrix and stress matrix for 1D shaft element. Now let us consider a shaft element in both local coordinate as well as global coordinate. If from any reference, if I mention the values of node number 1 and 2, then it becomes global coordinate. If I give the values of zeta at node number 1 and 2, it becomes local coordinate. So that is what I mentioned here. X1 is the distance of node number 1 from the reference, and x2 is the distance of node number 2 from the reference. Similarly, the value of zeta at node number 1 is -1, and the value of zeta at node number 2 is +1. And at each node we are going to consider the 1 degrees of freedom, that is what my angular displacement. Now to calculate the shear strain, let us consider this diagram where I am going to consider a shaft with some diameter fixed at one end, subjected to the torque at the other end. Now there is a longitudinal line AB which is there on the shaft. After applying the torque, now it has moved to the new position AB dash. So one assumption what we are making here is the longitudinal line AB is going to be remain straight even after applying the torque. Using that assumption, we are going to calculate the shear strain which is there in the shaft. Now in the second diagram here, this is what my side view. In the side view, we can able to see what is the angular displacement which is taking place in the shaft because of the applied torque. So now we'll establish the relationship between the shear strain and this angular displacement. So that is what I am doing here. So shear strain is given by, from the diagram, it is BB dash divided by AB. Therefore BB dash is equal to this angle, shear strain into AB, where AB is what my length of the shaft. That is what I am going to consider. Therefore my BB dash is equal to gamma into dx. So this is what my equation number one. Similarly, from the second diagram, where we have shown the small angular displacement on the side view, from there if I calculate arc length, so my arc length is BB dash. So that arc length BB dash is equal to that is radius into angle, where radius I have considered r and angle is d theta. So this is what my equation number 2. Now equating equation number 1 and 2, because on the left hand side in the both the equation number 1 and 2 I have left hand side BB dash. Therefore when I equate, I will get gamma is equal to r into d theta divided by dx. Now this theta can be represented in the form of local coordinates, or it can be represented in the form of global coordinates. So let us go with the local coordinates. That means I am mentioning theta in terms of zeta. Therefore I'll just modify this equation by applying the chain rule. So it is d theta divided by d zeta into d zeta divided by dx. So this d zeta will be get cancelled, left out with d theta divided by dx into r, the same equation. Now I need to substitute the values of d theta divided by d zeta as well as d zeta divided by dx. So we know that theta is equal to theta 1 n1 plus theta into n2. Now I'll substitute n1 and 2 in terms of zeta. Then when I do the simplification, when I open this bracket and take this theta 1 inside this bracket and similarly theta 2 inside the bracket, I'm going to get this equation. Similarly, we know the relation between local coordinates and the global coordinates. When I do the simplification by taking this 2 inside the bracket and applying this as LCM to both the terms separately, I am going to get this. Now what I need to do is I need to differentiate this theta with respect to zeta, so that I'll get the first term here, so that I can substitute. Similarly, this zeta I can differentiate with respect to x, so that I can substitute that value here to get that shear strain. So that is what I am doing here. I need to differentiate theta with respect to zeta. When I differentiate, so I am going to get minus theta 1 divided by 2 plus theta 2 divided by 2. That will be equal to minus theta 1 plus theta 2 divided by 2. Therefore it is theta 2 minus theta 1 divided by 2. That is what the differentiating theta with respect to zeta. So let us take this as an equation number 4. Similarly, I need to differentiate the second term, that is zeta with respect to x. When I differentiate zeta with respect to x, I am going to get the value as 2 divided by LE, because it is 2 into x, nothing but 2 divided by x2 minus x1. x2 minus x1 is nothing but my length of the element. So this is what my equation number 5. Now I need to substitute this equation number 4 and 5 in equation number 3. This is what my equation number 3, that I have modified here in terms of du by d zeta into d zeta by dx. So my du by I mean, instead of u, it's a theta, so it is d theta divided by d zeta. So it is d theta divided by d zeta is this value. That is what I obtained, theta 2 minus theta 1 divided by 2. Then my d zeta divided by dx is 2 divided by LE. That is what I have substituted. Then this two will be get cancelled. Then it is r into theta 2 minus theta 1 divided by LE. So this is what my shear strain. Now to calculate the shear strain, I need what is the radius of the shaft, then what is the angular displacement which is there at the left hand side and right hand side of the shaft, along with the uh, length of the shaft. So this shear strain now I will represent in the form of matrix. So this gamma is equal to r divided by LE as it is. So these displacements are take it outside, that is angular displacement theta 1 and theta 2. So theta 1 is associated with negative sign, therefore it is minus 1, and theta 2 is associated with positive sign, therefore it is plus 1. So this is what my shear strain matrix what we have derived. Similarly, using this we'll derive the shear stress matrix in the next. But This shear strain in general, it can be represented as gamma is equal to d into theta, where d is r divided by le minus 1 1 is what the value of d, and this is the displacement matrix, that is theta. Displacement means here it is a shear strain displacement matrix, and that is what my angular displacement. Now coming to the next, I need to derive the shear stress matrix. Now to derive the shear stress matrix, let us go back and see this relation. We know the relation shear modulus or modulus of rigidity is given by shear stress by shear strain. Therefore, my shear stress is equal to G into gamma, where G is the modulus of rigidity or shear modulus into shear strain, and therefore my tau is equal to G into shear strain, and in the previous slide we have derived the shear strain in the form of matrix. So let us substitute the shear strain in the form of matrix here. Therefore this G as it is, and this shear strain, this is the matrix we have derived. Therefore we are going to get the shear stress matrix, and this is what my shear stress matrix, which is G into R divided by LE minus 1 1 into displacement matrix, that is theta 1 and theta 2. So these are the uh, two matrix we need to remember, that is shear strain as well as shear stress for the shaft. Now we'll go to the second portion, where we need to derive the stiffness matrix for 1D shaft element using the strain energy. So we know that the strain energy is given by half into uh, 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 torque, applied torque into theta. This is the equation. We have taken it from half into force into displacement. That is what the bar, and there we are applied with the axial force P, and there is an axial displacement U. So instead of that, here the applied force is in the form of torque, and the displacement is an angular displacement. Therefore, it is theta. Therefore, it is half into T into theta is what my strain energy. Now we know that from the torsion equation, we know that T by J is equal to tau by R, where T is the applied torque, J is the polar moment of inertia, and tau is the shear stress, and R is the radius of the shaft. Using this relation, we can find T is equal to tau into J divided by R. That is one relation. In the torsion equation, we have one more relation, that is G theta by L is equal to tau by R, where G is the modulus of rigidity and theta is the angle of twist or angular displacement, and Le is the length of the shaft, and once again tau is the shear stress and R is the radius of the shaft. Therefore from this relation we can take out the theta, it is angular displacement. Therefore the theta will be equal to, it is tau into Le divided by G into R. So these are the two equations we have obtained, that is the torque as well as theta, because those torque and theta I need to substitute in equation number 1. So substituting equation number 2 and 3 in equation number 1, so this is what I am going to get. Strain energy is equal to half into T into theta. Half, as it is, T is nothing but tau into J divided by R, that is what I have substituted here. Then similarly theta is nothing but tau into Le divided by G into R, so that is what I have substituted here. So after simplification, now what I am going to get here, so here it is tau into tau, it is tau square, this J into Le as it is, then actually here it is 1 by 2 which is left out, so this 1 by 2 as it is, therefore this G into R square. So that is what the equation I am going to get. So let us put that value of 1 by 2 here, so that value is left out, so I'll just take that value 1 by 2 here. So 1 by 2 into this tau into tau, it is tau square, J into Le as it is, so it is R into R square, and this G as it is. Then we know that the shear stress matrix what we have derived in the previous slide, G into R divided by Le minus 1 1, and the displacement matrix theta theta 1, means now here I need to substitute that value of tau in terms of matrix. So that is what I am doing in the next slide. So let us substitute that value of tau in the form of matrix, where J divided by J into Le divided by G into R square as it is. Of course I have 1 by 2 outside once again, so that 1 by 2 I am not considered here. So let us put that 1 by 2 value as it is. So this value of 1 by 2, I will put it as it is, that I will left out here. So that 1 by 2 as it is, this J into LE divided by G into R square as it is. Now this tau square, I have substituted the matrix, that is shear stress matrix, with square as it is. Now I'll apply this square to all the terms here. So this 1 by 2 G into LE, I mean J into LE divided by G into R square as it is. So this square, it is G square, R square, LE square. So this matrix square and this matrix square. So this square is for all the terms here. So I'll apply individually. Then I'll extend that. So once again, this first term as it is here. So this second term as it is. Now this is when I apply this square individually, this is what I obtained. Now squaring a matrix is nothing but, this we already know. Squaring a matrix is nothing but multiplying that matrix with its own transpose, nothing but it is squaring. Similarly, this is displacement matrix square, nothing but multiplying with its own transpose. So this is what applying the square. Now once this is done, then here what happens, your r square will be get cancelled, one G will be get cancelled, so one LE will be get cancelled. So left out with half as it is, that J is as it is, one G cancelled, left out with one G, and here LE is cancelled, left out with one LE. So the term is left out. Then I'll apply the transpose for this matrix. Now row will be get converted to column. It is minus 1 to minus 1 and plus 1, and this matrix as it is. So this displacement matrix with transpose and this displacement matrix without transpose, I'll keep it as it is. Then in the next step, I'll rearrange the terms here. So it is 1 by 2 as it is. So this theta transpose, I'll take it outside. So this G into J divided by LE, minus 1 1 minus 1 1, this matrix I'll keep it as it is. So this theta I'll keep it outside. Now if you see this is half into theta transpose into K into theta. Now same thing, it is half into K into X square. So X square is nothing but whatever the displacement, I mean angular displacement square, that I am multiplying with its own transpose, nothing but it is squaring here, it is nothing but theta square. So when I see this, this is the uh, strain energy I am going to get. It is half into theta transpose into this entire term will become my stiffness into theta as it is. Therefore, my Ke, that is stiffness matrix for the shaft element, is J into G divided by Le, minus 1 1 in a column matrix, minus 1 1 in a row matrix. Therefore, to get this, I need to do the matrix multiplication here to get the stiffness matrix for the shaft element. So that is what I am going to get here. So J into G divided by Le as it is. So minus 1 into 1, it is 1. So minus 1 into 1, it is minus 1. So 1 into minus 1, it is minus 1. So 1 into 1, it is plus 1. So this is what my stiffness matrix for the shaft element. So it is similar to whatever the stiffness matrix we have derived for the bar element, where I have AE divided by LE, where A is the area of the member, E is the Young's modulus, divided by LE is length of the element. Here length of the element is same. Now my area and Young's modulus is replaced with J and G, that is area is replaced with the polar moment of inertia, and Young's modulus is replaced with shear modulus. So that is the change here. So this is what my stiffness matrix for the shaft element. Thank you for watching this session.